we go again.
The other big news since we've been gone, election, Donald Trump elected 47. Here's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
What are we doing about that?
Nothing. We're not doing anything. There's nothing to do. The thing is that the people voted. That's what they wanted. And so, you know, I've had so many different conversations about it. And, you know, of course, you know, people gonna have the blame game on why the Dems lost this, that, and the other. And, you know, forget all of that. The thing is that I didn't think that she had as much time as she should have had in the beginning. One of the concerns I told you about, because I'm not even fixing to blame the Dems for this, but I will say one of the conversations that we had and that I said on the pod, I said the only problem I have with this is because this is gonna count as her shot, right? So the Dems is gonna be like, well, they didn't want you, and this was her shot. You gave her a half a stick and was like, you got 100 days to make it turn around, right? And they did the best that they thought they could, whatever. So aside from that, the people though are the ones that voted for this man to be back. So there's nothing we can do but a sit. I am basically about to sit here with my popcorn, bro, because for all the people that had something to say and for all the people that swear this man is the answer to everything, I'm about to sit back and watch. And I get to complain about it because I ain't vote for him. So, but people that didn't vote at all, I ain't trying to hear nothing. But if anything, and I'm talking
Marty Flacco.
Right. And well, he still gets blamed too, because even though he didn't vote, he had a big enough platform and said what he wanted his followers to do, right? You still are responsible for stuff. So that's a cop out too. But my thing is that if anything does happen that man said he was going to do, and if it does happen, everybody who voted for him is to blame. And everybody that chose not to vote, they are to blame. And I've told you off mic, and I'll say it publicly now. And I blame anybody that voted for him. Anybody that voted for him. If you are a lifelong Republican that you just, I just want to vote for my party, it's your fault. If you voted for him for any reason at all, it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? The lifelong Republicans don't get no bail, because you voting against your party does not take you away from being in your party. It doesn't work like that. So I'm disappointed with black men. I'm disappointed with black women. Anybody of a different race than Caucasian that voted for him, I'm disappointed with, because it's just
wait. Why aren't you disappointed with the people from the Caucasus Mountains?
Because I mean, it's just like, let's just keep it a buck, right? If Obama was running, I'm voting for Obama just because he's black, right? I don't care what the policies are. I'm rocking with Obama, right? And for reasons, right? First black president in history, like that's just what it is. So, right. So I just know off the rip, right? There's gonna just be some white people that's just gonna vote for him because of the fact that man is a white man that's running. Okay.
So you think that some people didn't vote for Kamala because she's black?
Yes, absolutely. Because she's black and because she's a woman. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
That was exactly why some people didn't vote for her. I mean, that's just that we might not be where we were, but we still ain't made it out of racism yet, right? And then I mean, let's keep it all the way funky, right? There are certain people who, even when it comes to, they bring religion into politics. And so for religious beliefs, they're like, no, a woman should not be running the country. Just like certain religions, women should not be pastors and preachers. That's a true statement. So she had so many things against her. And like I said, for whatever reason that people voted for him, if anything happens, it's their fault. Anybody that voted for him. And that's just what it is.
Let me tell you my problem. My problem here, it always will go back to Barack Obama for me, right? So for me, right, the last time that I saw a Republican candidate where I was like, oh, you know what, I can see why Republicans rock with him real heavy,
Right.
right, was John McCain. Right, when John McCain ran against Barack Obama, I thought to myself, I said, wow, this man is considered to be an American hero. He was a war veteran. He was prisoner for X number of years, came back, he served his country, came back, and now he's a politician. That it made sense to me as a Republican. If that American hero to you supports the traditional American values and conservative American values, that made sense to me, right? After having him serve in the military for so long, he then went and served his country to represent it in government. Like I can appreciate on some level somebody who's dedicated their life to public service, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even with that being said, right, I thought that Barack Obama, they didn't have nothing on him except the fact that he was black, right? And so my thing is that, like, this is the way I look at it, right? Like to some people, like I'm always gonna defend Barack Obama. Right? I'm a Barack Obama guy. I'm a Barack Obama supporter. Barack Obama is my cup of tea. But I'm not gonna forget that some of y'all voted against him and voted for Mitt Romney. Right? Like John McCain was one thing. Mitt Romney is a different thing. Now, mind you, Mitt Romney again, successful, big super millionaire, whatever. But you can't tell me that if you tell me, well, he was just ahead of the party. But then fast forward, you go and say, well, Trump is the guy. And the problem, and not even the problem, where I think that I'll never agree with a Trump supporter is how extreme. Because the same way how I look at Barack Obama, that's how they look at Donald Trump. And I understand that, but our reasons are so far different. But the extreme and the concentration of how much they support them
It's the
is the
same.
same and equal. And
Yeah.
so for that reason, I'm looking at that and I just sit there and think. I've never been able to have someone explain to me what is their infatuation, what they love about him so much, though, right?
I've had somebody explain it to me, but it's not the same way, right? You know, it's like if I say, well, he did this, they will come back, well, she did this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not equal, right? You
It's
know
the
what I'm saying?
goalpost. You always move the goalpost for him.
100%.
But
Like,
I think that
go ahead.
I think the thing that always gets me the most about the thing that gets me the most about Donald Trump is none of the argument, to your point, none of the argument applies to him. So if you say she's not qualified, is he really? If you say that, oh, he's a business guy, is he really a business guy, or does he know how to manipulate the laws to do this, that, and the other? Like, was he really as successful when people say, well, I'm about his policies? They don't know what specific policies, right? They got those talking points, right? We have concepts of things. So it's like that's the thing about it to me. It's like there's nothing tangible, right, when it comes to him that I understand. So because of that, it doesn't resonate. Here's one of the things that I do that I am kind of that I wonder, right? So let's just say you got 4 years down. He can't run no more, right? So my thing is, what happens to the MAGA folks now that MAGA is no longer a not a threat to run, but does his cosign to the next Republican mean something? Because his base, I suppose, will always be his base. So does it say, well, Donald Trump cosigns you, so my base also will support you? Or does his base then become where maybe it's only the extreme supporters, right? That are the red hats, right? I wonder, like, what do y'all do when he's no longer around? Because he's going to be like 80 something years old. So the same things you have to say about Joe Biden are going to apply to him, though, right?
Not
So it's
really.
like,
Not really, because they're gonna look at his competency, like for whatever reason, they feel he's competent enough to do like because he can get up there and riff and do his swerve and all the things that he does. That's what, and like you said, at the end of the day, once it's done, it's just the cosign where whoever he and for them, JD is who they are grooming. So if he decides to run next time, that's who they go. It's just that.
Most Republicans that I know never even heard of JD Vance until 3 months ago.
Don't
Right? So
matter.
that's the
He
thing I
there now
think
though.
that's crazy. Yeah, but here's the thing I think that's awesome. The reason why I bring that up is because, again, Barack Obama, right? So my thing is this. You had all of these people, the Tea Party folks, right? The Sarah Palins of the world and all these other people, right? That were very heavily involved with the Tea Party. And the Tea Party, their whole goal was to be so anti-Barack Obama to overthrow everything he did, to kill everything he did. It was all fabricated specifically for Barack Obama, right? Barack Obama gets elected, and then all those people ran, the Tea Party people ran and were reelected all under the premise that they would undo everything that he would do. So in the process of that, here comes Donald Trump. He hijacks the Republican Party because he was never heavily affiliated with Republicans that I'm aware of, and I could be wrong. So here it is. He comes to, and now the MAGA folks take over. So now that the Tea Party folks convert over to MAGA, and then so it's like, well, now that if MAGA's gone, does the MAGA folks go back in Tea Party? Because I think the thing that gets me the most is when you brought up that you wasn't as concerned about when the white people, it was the minorities. Where I agree with you on that. My reasons for not, I just fully expect that. All right, hey, the same way how 95% of all black women voted for Kamala Harris, another black woman, or voted for Donald Trump. I just naturally, I just expect for white people who are the majority to vote for the white candidate. Like it's just
100%.
if
Like it
if
just
all things are equal,
yeah.
if all things are equal, the same resume, and it's unfortunate. I just expect for white people who are Republicans, they're going to vote for their guy, right? Um, but I think that the part that gets me the most is that the Latinos
It's the
got
Latino
me
men.
completely.
Latino
The
men.
Latino men, but even the Latino women, some of them got me. And like and listen, that's not necessarily my community because the Latinos that I know aren't Republicans. So I'm saying, but when I look at the demographics of the voting, and I don't understand. I don't understand their infatuation. And here's my assumption. I think that the Latinos that identify as Republicans don't think that the Republican Party view them the way that we think that they view them, right? Like, I don't think that Republicans view them differently. I don't think that Republicans view Latinos as one of us. Like, y'all are one of us. Just the same way I don't think that the Republican Party personally views their black members as one of us, right? Because you have more than just Tim Scott as the lone black Republican senator if they did. It's cool for you to vote for us, but I think that for some reason, and I would be wrong in saying that, but I just don't think that the Latinos that vote Republican think that Republicans view them as inclusive. I don't. It's just my thought though. So that's why I would never understand
I mean, I don't even care about the psyche behind it or anything. Like I said what I said. If you voted for him, if anything happened, it's on you. So when this mass deportation thing goes off, when they get rid of the Department of Education, all the thing, everything that he said he was gonna do, when the stuff starts happening, I'm gonna be eating my popcorn.
They already is. I think that they're already starting a lot of this. And so it's going to be interesting though, man. It is going to be interesting though. So yeah, I'm reading this thing, and I don't think that that's going to happen. Listen, I think that this is the thing that's just crazy. Like I understand that
And
that's
I think he's saying that's what.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I'd like to think that our country is a democracy, and that the democracy, the Republicans wouldn't allow for something like that to happen.
You would think, right? But that's the again, people didn't read all of Project 2025.
By
And
the time something like that would happen, Donald Trump would be like 90 years old.
I understand that. But the other thing that he also threatened to do was that once you vote this time, that's it. You ain't gotta vote no more. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we say all these things aren't possible, but there are like the Republicans won the majority of everything this time. So a lot of the hurdles that we weren't able to go through, it's gonna be different this time. Like it's a
Well, let
lot
me
of
tell you this. Let me tell you this. We talk about the voting because this is the conspiracy. You know what I mean? When it comes about conspiracies, right? So the conspiracy is this. So you saw Donald Trump in his last few before the vote, before the elections happened. He was telling his people, "You ain't got to vote for me. I already got enough votes, right? Yeah, we got the secret already. We got this vote." So this is the one thing that's kind of interesting, and all the swing states, right? So the swing states previously he lost out on, and that's how he lost the election, right? But this time around, when they went through and they examined some of the votes, so in North Carolina, for example, right? On the ballots, they had almost all of the Democratic spots for senators, other key spots were Democrats, and they all won their election, right? It was just on the presidency that they didn't. So you had a lot of people who what they want people to believe is that there was a big number of people in North Carolina who went and voted Democratic all the way down the ticket, except for president. They picked Donald Trump, right? Then you also have a big population in states like Pennsylvania, states like Wisconsin, where people didn't do any other local election. All they did is just went through and voted just for president, Donald Trump, and nothing else. So what it looks like almost is if they introduce some kind of box into it where it's like a fixed vote. So it's almost like now here's the thing I think is crazy, right? Because I think if this information came out, and let's say if Trump lost this, right, he would be the first one to be pointing this stuff out and say the election was rigged, right? If you have in states where if you go down the ticket, you mean to tell me that there were that many Democratic voters that said, "Oh, we like all of our local people. We don't like the Democrat for president." Like that just doesn't seem very believable to me, though, right? This doesn't. So I don't know.
yeah. But like I said, at the end of the day, unless some proof comes out that there was some conspiracy, whatever, he won. And once I had my initial disappointment when I woke up the next morning and saw it, then I just was like, all right, this is what y'all wanted. And sometimes you got to give people what they want.
Yeah, he said, they say, gotta do what they want. Huh?
Give the people what they want. You asked for it, you kept campaigning for it, now you got elected. So
And all the black men that I know that was pro Trump, I ain't gonna never forget that, bro. I know who all y'all is.
yep.
I ain't gonna never forget y'all for that, bro.
Nah.
Never.
Nah. Look, bro.
I'm gonna go ahead and listen. And that's not to play the race card on any other thing. I'm talking to people who look like me that voted for him or that supported him. Now, if you voted for him, that means you're a supporter. Don't try to say you're not a supporter because you
You are.
voted for
Yep.
him.
You vote
You're a Trump supporter.
if you voted for him for any reason, you a supporter. I don't care what you
Yeah.
say. I don't care what you say. You voted for him, you supporting him. Period. There's ain't nothing on the other side of that. You either all in or you all ain't. And you all in.
Yeah.
You voted for him, you
Yeah.
supporter.
I ain't gonna never forget that.